When the goal is gaining muscle, there is more to consider than just training intensely in the gym. The way you eat to fuel your workouts and recover from training is equally as important. If you are just winging it with your nutrition, you are leaving a lot of potential progress on the table. So today I will discuss 3 key nutrition variables that influence muscle growth. After this video, you will have a clear idea of how you can structure your nutrition for faster results. Let's dive straight in by discussing the first variable, getting your calories right. A popular saying in evidence-based fitness is that training is the trigger of muscle growth while nutrition is permissive. This basically means that you need to stimulate your muscles via training, but to allow muscle growth to occur, you need to fuel your body properly via nutrition. Making sure you consume enough calories in a day is the most important variable when it comes to fueling muscle growth. Gaining muscle is an energy-intensive process. If you undereat, not only will you find it hard to train in the gym, but your muscles also won't have the energy resources in order to recover and build up properly. This is why bulking phases are common in the world of bodybuilding. Consuming slightly more calories than your body expends in a day helps speed up the muscle growth process because now you have more energy to allocate towards your training and also muscle recovery. Now, some people tend to understand bulking phases in the wrong way and see it as an excuse to start eating a lot more snacks. But that's not what a bulking phase is for. Even during a bulk, muscle growth is slow, so you only want to consume slightly above your maintenance calories. I like to call this a lean bulk since it is usually more controlled than a traditional bulk. For most people, I'd suggest maintaining a calorie surplus of around 200 to 300 calories per day. Especially since we also want to minimize fat gain while building muscle, this slight calorie surplus is beneficial. As I have shown in a previous video, a simple way you can calculate your bulking calories is to multiply your body weight by 15 and adding 200 to 300 calories on top of this number. So if I take myself as an example, this means I need to consume around 2600 to 2700 calories per day in a lean bulk. Also, to lean bulk effectively, consider your fitness journey over the course of a year. Make sure that at least 2/3 of your year you are in a lean bulking phase to focus on building your muscles up. The remaining 1/3 of your year can be used to focus more on fat loss. Lastly, on the topic of calories, I want to mention that you can still gain muscle while being in a calorie deficit. Countless of studies have shown this, but your muscle growth results won't be as fast as in a lean bulking phase. Now that we have discussed calories, let's look into another key pillar of muscle growth, your protein intake. Muscle growth occurs when muscle protein synthesis exceeds muscle protein breakdown. In order for your body to synthesize more protein than it breaks down, you need to provide your body enough dietary protein. This helps explain why, up to a certain point, protein intake has a linear relationship with muscle growth. A 2018 review paper found that increasing protein intake up to 1.6 grams per kilogram of your total body weight results in faster muscle growth. So if you want to gain muscle, making sure you consume at least 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight is one of the priorities. But to keep this protein intake reasonable for everyone, I suggest that overweight and obese individuals base their protein intake on their goal body weight instead of total body weight. Next to total protein intake, it is also worth looking into protein frequency. As mentioned earlier, we want muscle protein synthesis to exceed muscle protein breakdown as much as possible. Based on the research, having around 3 to 5 protein servings in a day produces a small benefit for maximizing protein balance. So if you want to optimize the details as well, spread your daily protein intake over 3 to 5 eating moments. Now, if you consider yourself someone that struggles with gaining weight, it is also worth mentioning that you should not try to go too high in protein either. Multiple research reviews show that protein is generally more filling than carbohydrates or fat. The thermic effect of protein is also higher. These factors make it more challenging to consume enough calories in a day, so if you consider yourself a hard gainer, I would not consume a lot more protein than the 1.6 grams per kilogram of your body weight that I just recommended. The third nutrition variable that we need to look into is a bit underrated, and that's your carbohydrate intake. Low-carb diets have become pretty popular, but if you want to maximize your performance in the gym, carbohydrates are important. A 2010 position stand from the International Society of Sports Nutrition indicates that athletes performing high-intensity exercise need carbohydrates to maintain high muscle and liver glycogen stores. But glycogen is the main fuel source in high-intensity training, so we want it to be high. Also, if we look at experimental research, we see that multiple recent studies found that ketogenic or low-carb diets are less effective than high-carb diets for gaining muscle. These findings could be due to the fact that high-carb diets involve greater insulin stimulation, which plays an important role in muscle growth. So if you want to gain muscle, maintaining a somewhat high-carb diet is beneficial. In one research review, it was suggested that consuming 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of your body weight is sufficient for recreational trainees. I would treat the 3 to 5 grams per kilogram of your body weight range as a starting point. Based on how you respond to this carbohydrate intake, you can alter it based on your preferences. Now, when it comes to carbohydrate timing, most people don't have to time their carb intake in a specific way. Research indicates that as long as you consume enough carbohydrates in a day, your muscle glycogen stores will be adequate for your training. If you have at least 24 hours rest in between workouts and in this window you consume enough carbohydrates, your muscle glycogen stores will recover without the need for immediate post-workout carbohydrates. But there is nothing wrong with planning your carbs around training if you feel it helps. So to sum up, if you want to gain muscle more quickly, there are 3 main nutrition variables we need to look into. First, make sure you provide your body enough calories on a daily basis to fuel training and muscle repair. Secondly, consume enough protein in a day and consider spreading your protein intake throughout the day in 3 to 5 servings. Lastly, have enough carbs in your diet to support anabolic processes and perform better in your training sessions. And that was all for this video. We discussed the main nutrition variables for muscle growth. Just getting these 3 variables right will be responsible for the majority of the progress you can make with good nutrition. If you have any questions about your current nutrition, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Leave me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.